I think I have a new favorite group in America. The Satanic Temple has been perfectly trolling red states when they make these overtly pro-religious declarations that violate the Constitution clearly. And the way that they're trolling is so glorious. So recently, an Orange County, Florida judge ruled that Christians can give out religious materials in public schools. Now, again, that's a clear violation of the Establishment Clause. You're violating separation of church and state. So what happened in response? Quote, the Satanic Temple took advantage of this decision, deciding to flood Orange County schools with a pamphlet entitled The Satanic Children's Book, Big Book of Activities that contains kid-friendly satanic lessons. So, naturally, religious people were freaking out over this. But it's important to remember, quote, the spokesman for the Satanic Temple explained that his organization would never seek to establish a precedent of disseminating our religious materials in public schools because we believe our constitutional values are better served by respecting a strong separation of church and state. However, if a public school board is going to allow religious pamphlets and full Bibles to be distributed to students, as is the case in Orange County, Florida, we think the responsible thing to do is to ensure that these students are given access to a variety of differing religious opinions as opposed to standing idly by while one religious voice dominates the discourse and delivers propaganda to youth. So, notice the simple brilliance behind this strategy. They're very simply saying, if you stop, we stop. The second that you guys stop poisoning the minds of the young school children by shoving Bibles down their throats in public schools, the government's not allowed to do that. They can't pick one religion over another. If you're allowing in people distributing Bible and Jesus materials, you're violating the Constitution. So what they're saying is, look, the second you stop doing that, then we will stop handing out our pro-Satan books. Deal? Shake on it. Again, it's such a smart thing to do, and this isn't the first time they did this. In fact, the other time they did this, it was even more funny, because it was in Oklahoma, and they put up a 10 Commandments. Religious groups put up a 10 Commandments statue on public land. Now, again, you're not allowed to do that. You can't just pick the religion of Christianity and say, on public land, which their tax dollars pay for. There are plenty of atheists and agnostics and secular people in Oklahoma. They don't want their fucking tax dollars, their land, tatted with all these different biblical references. They don't want it, and it's their money. You have to represent everybody with the government. But the Satanic Temple stepped in and said, okay, look, you shouldn't put anything there, but if you're going to put the 10 Commandments, great. We're going to put a statue of Baphomet right next to it. I love these guys. And it's always hilarious when you see on Fox News and on talk radio, as I've seen multiple times, by the way, you have the hosts screaming about the decline of morals in America because some people are embracing Satan. They're like, should we allow... I don't think we should allow these satanic materials to be distributed in churches and to be put on our public land. Oh man, this is scary. Satan worshipers are now being treated fairly and equally in America. And nobody has pulled these guys aside and explained to them, you idiots, they're trolling you and you walked right into their trap. They don't actually believe in Satan. They're mocking you. They're mocking your metaphysical tooth fairy Easter bunny beliefs where you're trying to put that in the public schools, and then they come along and say, well, if you're going to allow one made-up bullshit superstition, you got to allow them all. And that's the moral of the story, and that's the bottom line. In a society that makes sense, with a civilized government that makes sense, you either represent everybody and allow all religions that want to be represented. So on your public land, you're going to have something that represents the Bible and Hindus and Buddhists and Muslims and agnostics and you name it. It would have to represent everybody. Either you do that or you say, okay, hands off, no religion allowed in the public square. It's one or the other. You can't have it both ways. And the Satanic Temple has found a brilliant way to mock the Christians for not understanding that.